Good evening and welcome to the High School Sports Caravan. Ray Halbrook here with Livestream STL. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday evening here. We're live here from the River's Edge, and we're just glad to be here.
And boy, I tell you what, we thought we had an all-star panel last month.
Yeah, right.
This thing takes the cake right here.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now. Next to me is my good friend. He's the head basketball coach at University City, Kelvin Lee.
Yes.
The athletic director of the year in the state of Missouri, and Jen Brooks from Ursuline Academy. You want to talk about who's been an advocate for our student athletes, just not, the great ladies at Ursuline, but everybody here in the area. We'll talk a little bit about that. Jen has been such an advocate this past year. It's been unbelievable. And then Dan Rolfes, the head coach at Incarnate Word, and I've lost count on my abacus on how many state championships Dan has won. I'm sure you'll remind me later on about it. So
tell you all about it.
I figured you would. Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch there. So, but no, we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit about basketball. But the other part of the thing that I want to talk about tonight, and that's why I wanted to get Jen here tonight, is just how girls athletics, just not basketball, have really grown. And Dan, for a lot of people that don't already know, Dan is also doubling as the athletic director up at IWA and has done a tremendous job. And Kelvin has been in the business. He's coached both boys and girls. He's been around for quite a few years. So this is going to be a fun show tonight for about the next hour or so. We're going to have a lot of interaction with you on Facebook and all that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook page, High School Sports Caravan, Livestream STL, and for the great folks watching on the River's Edge social Facebook page as well. So let's jump into it. And first off, Kelvin, I'm going to start with you. We're not going to talk about KJ just yet. Let's talk about your other kids.
Okay.
What a great year you guys had at U City this past year. Talk a little bit about just, trying to traverse through COVID, doing the right things, doing everything, and the success you guys were able to come up with this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, again, I want to thank you for having me on tonight. It's a blessing to be here, and I thank my Lord and Savior for that, okay, and first and foremost. But, again, we had a great year. And I want to thank our superintendent of schools and our principal, Michael Peoples, who was, again, without them, we probably wouldn't have gotten through this because they allowed us to play. They really pushed us to get our season in instead of shutting us down when COVID hit. As long as we stay with the proper protocol, mask up, take care of business, and thank the Lord we didn't have any tests throughout the year. We had nobody test positive throughout the year, so that was pretty cool. But again, it was a great year. I had great senior leadership. Jalen Hampton, our best player, and he made all-team, 6A All-State, and second team All-Metro this year. Tremendous athlete. He's going to go to a prep school in Springfield and try to get better, and then move on to D1 after that. Then there was Brandon Ming, 6'5", athletic kid, shoots it, run the floor, do a lot of things, but he just committed today. He's going to go to Iowa Wesleyan University in a D3 school. But again, like I was telling my wife earlier, and you go to D1, D2, or D3, you're stuck.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to bring up later on because, Dan, you've had a bunch of players, go in every level. And, Jen, in your years of being an athletic director and also a coach, you've seen the same thing. But, D1 isn't the end game, and it should never be the end game. There's so many outstanding opportunities.
And every year I sit down with my players. This goes back to when I had Bradley Bill and David Lee, all of them that I've coached over the years, and I always sit them down going into their senior year, and I ask them to go home, get with your parents, and then just come up with a list, about 5 or 6 schools that you think you can play at. And then the other players, like Andy Kleinlein and some kid at Chaminade that went to Division III, I said, let's keep it real now. Don't come walking in here talking about University of Texas, Michigan, and all those schools. Keep it real. Be real about where you think you can play, and then I'll start making the phone calls for you to get you there, to help you.
Outstanding. And just, some great signature victories for you guys this year. And the one thing I know about you, since we've known each other for about 1,000 years, is you don't shy away from anybody on the court. You're whoever wants to step up to the plate, we're going to play them. And you guys had a couple great signature wins leading up to the district this year.
Yeah, we did. We went over to CBC, and that's when nobody gave us a chance to win. But, again, I had a game plan. And again, I always come up with some motivational tactics, and that game was, and the kids get a big kick out of some of my motivational deals. But I came up with the gladiator theme, before the game.
Nice.
I was in the locker room. I just looked at the boy. I said, "Are you not entertained?" I just started yelling, "Are you not entertained?" So they got to kick it. I just sort of I got fired up, and let's go out and let's entertain the people tonight. And then that was a great win for us. And then the Cardinal Ritter game, we lost. But again, Dan, I'm not giving you no ideas, but I got this from Pat Riley back in the day, the great coach. But before the Cardinal Ritter game, I asked my manager to go back and get a big bucket of ice water and put it in the middle of the floor. And then I started talking to the team. And I looked at them and said, "You guys know what I think about Cardinal Ritter right now?" I put my head right there in that. I dumped my head in that ice water. It was cold, but they got fired up. Went out there ready to play. But hey, that's just some of the stuff we do as coaches to get them fired up.
Absolutely. And Jen, you're not the basketball coach, you're the AD. But Ursuline, what a great year.
Yeah.
You guys had basketball-wise. Jeff Stevens does an outstanding job with the program, and you guys had a great season and a great run. Trying to traverse through everything COVID-wise and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we didn't play until after Christmas. We were put into quarantine twice, and it wasn't anything that was happening at school or within the team. It was cases from coming outside in. But it was hard. We had to figure out how to practice virtually. That's not fun.
Yeah.
So to keep them engaged, and then to come back after Christmas and start playing, and then win a district championship, that was pretty awesome.
Absolutely, and you guys had. And just not basketball. You talk about just sporting wise, all across the board at Ursuline. You've got great coaches. You can go ahead and brag about your daughter a little bit. It's okay because she does a terrific job as well. But it starts from the top down, and I've always said this, with you as the AD, but then you've got great coaches and then kids that buy into what the mission and what you guys want to do.
Right. My job is to, I always tell my coaches, I'm here for you. So what will make your job easier and better? How can I make you better? How can I make the girls better by helping you? What do you need? I'm your servant, And so that's my approach. I'm not going to micromanage. I'm not going to tell them who to play, what defense to run. I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm going to say, what do you need, and I'll give it for you.
And once again, I mentioned this a little bit ago in the open. Jen was very instrumental. And I know she's going to sit here and deny it, and she's going to say she didn't have a big part in it. But, Jen was part of some of the ADs that actually really got the needle moving back in late September with St. Louis County. And, Jen, I know me and you have talked, and my feelings. Everything you did was appreciated by everybody, coaches, players, parents, everybody. And we're going to talk a little bit about all that here in a little bit, but I just wanted to say thank you for the work you and Brian Kessler, Scott Lazak, and, the hours you guys sunk into figuring out the plan to get our kids playing back in late September in the county. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And I know it was a labor of love for you. A lot of time.
100% a labor of love. It's like, what's best for the kids? Them playing. Can we do it safely? Yes. Let's work together on how to do this.
No doubt. We're going to talk a little bit about how everybody maneuvered through all that stuff in a little bit. But, Dan, just another year. Another championship for Incarnate Word. But the one thing, and I said this earlier in the year when I first saw you guys play. I said, this isn't the typical IWA team, so to say, where there's that dominating big, and then you guys get going and the pressure and all that kind of stuff. You guys were a little bit more, well-rounded, so to say, because you didn't have the typical height and stuff like that. And the job that you guys did, coaching staff-wise, and the kids was just unbelievable. Congratulations on another state championship.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, it was a fun year. The best teams that we've had and that you're going to play against are always the teams that are well balanced. And so, when we're coaching and game planning, we're trying to take away people's best option. Try to exploit them, and when we've got multiple people who can shoot the three, run the floor, mix up our defenses, that's when we're at our best, for sure.
And I tell you what, and once again, you've heard me say this, I think Natalie Potts is well on her way to be another D1 player for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, she keeps progressing where she is. I'm not going to put the pressure on her and say she's an ex officio.
Yeah, no, she's.
but I tell you what, though, the year that she had, I mean, the accolades that she earned, she deserved it because as a sophomore, she was just lights out this year for you guys.
Agreed. She had a very good year, and she learned a lot. Just got thrown to the wolves, kind of as a freshman because we had no size, and she learned a lot. And then, honestly, this year she just did all the little things. She ran the floor really well, offensive rebounded, expanded her range, to where people had to guard her out on the three. So, she didn't do like anything just crazy, unbelievable, but she just did all the little things. And you just look at the stats at the end of the game. It's like, oh, whoa, she had 20, she had 25, and she actually broke a record for us and had 40 in a game against Ladue, and that broke a school record. So that was pretty neat for her.
Yeah, and whose record did she break?
Yeah, Nafisa.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that. Yeah. I'm like, maybe what I've been saying is going to actually be true.
Believe me, I hope it is, but there's only one Nafisa, so.
This year, though, the curveball gets thrown, and I want to talk to everybody about this. The championship factor and all that. So you guys get bumped all the way up to 6. The road wasn't the easy road that typically maybe in 4 and 5 for the Red Knights as it typically is. I mean, you had to play Rockbridge in a state quarterfinal out at Rock. I mean, and then the teams that you had to play down in Springfield. In Webster, the job that Josh did this year was unbelievable, and they were right there for the first 20 minutes or so. But how were you guys able to traverse through that, having to know you're moving up into Class 6 with a lot bigger schools than what you guys normally see?
I feel like we kind of already play those schools anyways on a regular schedule. We travel, we try to make the hardest schedule we possibly can, and. I honestly didn't really feel like it was going to be that different. It's just kind of different in who we play. And I've felt like in the past that there's been schools, Class 3, Class 4, Class 5, that have all been very, very good. You look at Stratford; they won 4 in a row. I know Whitfield wanted to get out of there, and they would probably won the championship factor 3 years ago, so they could get out of there.
Mike Slater did say that last month, by the way.
Believe me. I get the purpose behind it, and it's fine. I mean, we want to play the best. So, at the end of the day, we're fine with it. And honestly, it's state championship's a state championship. So,
no doubt.
You're competing, and at the end of the day, to win a state championship, it's gonna be tough.
No doubt. And Jen, Ursuline, same thing. You guys normally are sitting in that mid-pack someplace class-wise, and with the championship factor, you guys kind of get bumped up. How did, I know Jeff did a great job with the basketball team, but your other coaches, how are you guys kind of maneuvering through all of that, knowing that you may be playing up another class than what you're typically there for?
I was one of the ADs that actually came up with that championship factor.
Yeah.
So, I knew from a little bit ago how it could impact us, and it's impacted us so awesome. We're playing the level that we can compete in, so it's good for everybody. And, for the Kelvins and the Dans of the world, they're competing against the best of the best, and we're competing where we can, do well as well. So we are having the best success our athletic program has had in its school history this year, and it's because of the championship factor.
Yeah, I think the championship factor is fantastic because it kind of puts everybody on that level playing field. Kelvin, you've been around the block, and how did you think the championship factor worked out this year?
Well, I think it worked out really well. Again, I'll take us back to our district championship game we're playing against Cardinal Ritter, and everybody made a big deal of it. I said, hey man, we got to play against the best. And that's why I was telling them, if you're going to make it, eventually you're going to have to play against them. So it just happened to be in our district championship game, which was fine with me. Bring it on. But again, it was unfortunate, but it's just the way it played out. It was great.
And the way it's affected other sports in the school, it has been terrific as well because, once again, it's putting everybody, if your soccer team is not that strong, you're going to be able to play that step back and play. That way, they're not getting they're not getting their brains bashed in on a nightly basis. And that's the one thing I've noticed in a lot of the box scores and a lot of the scores is you're not seeing those blowouts that you typically would see throughout the year. And that's been really cool. And I think that's where the championship factor has really done its job and really making it a level playing field for everybody. Kelvin, before we go to break, talk about your son. KJ, what a great year for him, and I want you to brag on him a little bit.
Well, again, I feel very proud of my son. Again, he's put in the time, and I just go back. We talk all the time. I just go back when he was 2 years old, when he first put a ball in his hand. He fell in love with it. Again, just all the hard work and the training, limitless hours in the gym with him, training him. And I'm fortunate I didn't get a chance to coach him. I've coached a lot of great players, but I didn't get a chance to coach my son, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Again, it probably worked out better because I know me. I probably would have ran him off. And I probably wouldn't have had that father-son relationship with him that I have now.
Dan, would you like to chime in about,
He'd be riding home with Mom. I know that.
Exactly.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But it all worked out for him. And Coach Upman did a great job of coaching
Yeah,
him
he did.
for 4 years. And I thanked him for that, too, as well. But, again, he's going to go to the next level now. We're preparing for that now. So every Saturday morning we're in the lab, just getting better. And I'm working him, I'm intensifying it right now just to get him prepared for the next level.
No doubt. And Jen, your daughter, she didn't fall far from the tree now, did she?
No.
Because she's getting into this wacky world of coaching that we've all been a part of. Talk a little bit about her, how proud you are of what she's done.
I'm so proud of her. She's one of our volunteers. She does it for free to coach our young women at our school. It's her alma mater, so I get it. It's amazing. I think it's a benefit for us because here's a coach who's not afraid to tell her AD what she could do better or different. And she gives me that great feedback. She gives me a great coaching perspective. Hey, Mom, have you thought about this? No, I haven't. That's really good. And just the job she does with the young woman, I'm like, dang, that's really good, Nora. So, yeah, it's fun having her on staff.
Oh, I can only imagine. And Dan, your kids are grown now. I mean, a couple in college and your son. But it's got, number one, it's got to be nice to, for you and Lisa to have the house to yourself. But you got to.
But then COVID happened, and they all came back.
Oh, shoot. But, seeing how they grew in their prospective sports, you got to feel very happy and blessed of what they were able to do and different things along those lines.
Yeah, I just wanted them to do something and be passionate about something. I don't care if you want to maybe not play the drums because that would drive me crazy, but I don't care if it's soccer, golf, basketball, whatever you want to do, sing, I don't care. But you're not going to sit around and watch TV and sit on the couch all day. So do something, be passionate about it, and love what you do. And I think they've all kind of found their road, what they're passionate about, and it's good to see. And I get to see Kate still a lot because she's in town, which is fun. But it's just crazy to see. Well, one, make me feel old, but it's just crazy to see what what they're capable of and when they're passionate about what they want to do. So,
how did
I got one thing I want to say. I'm sitting next to her. We got something here. My daughter played at Ursuline.
Yeah.
Yeah, she played volleyball but got injured, but she ended up cross country. Did a great job. She loved that school, and she still talks about Ursuline today.
Yeah.
And I want to tell her about this tonight.
Yeah.
She'll get fired up about that.
That's awesome.
She'll get fired up.
Absolutely. And real quick, Dan, I'll ask you this because you're still kind of a newbie with the AD stuff. How has your vision of kind of everything in an athletic department changed from just being a head coach to now you're the head coach of pretty much everybody in the department?
Well, thank God I can call Jen because she just tells us what to
do.
Preach.
No, and you kind of alluded to it earlier on how impactful she was on the COVID stuff. She was basically disseminating all the information for us and really helping us out. That's for sure. So a ton of hours that she put in, and I know she probably doesn't get thanked enough, that's for sure. But it was very awesome to see her be recognized as the AD of the year. That's, she's well deserved.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Awesome.
And pretty awesome. That I think it's from our conference and a female, and I think all that stuff is pretty cool. So and just navigating through this year, I mean, it's constant changes.
Yeah.
So when you have someone that at our conference and that I can point to, it's pretty impactful. So kudos to Jen for sure. So.
We're going to talk about that in our next segment. So
Sorry
let's
for
do this.
stealing
No.
your stuff.
It's a perfect segue. So
Yeah, how we planned it.
As they call it, it's a tease. It's right on the script. It's right in the script. So we're going to step aside, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how these guys all made it through COVID, how I turned in to be a mouthpiece, which I wanted to be, getting information from Jen and those others, and just how these guys were able to go through all the COVID stuff over the last, it's now 13 months we've been dealing with this. So, but when we come back, we're going to talk a lot about that. We got a great panel. We got great food. We got Demi behind the bar. We got Arl and his staff here at River's Edge. If you're in the neighborhood, please come on by. We're right here on Chippewa, right next to River to Pear, having a blast. The Blues games are on, and we heard a big yell, and yes, the Blues are winning 1-0. So at least the St. Louis team has got a lead early in the game right now. Ray, did I really just say that? Did I go down that road?
Well,
I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick it the break right now.
Thanks. We're gonna go to break. You're watching the High School Caravan. We'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying tonight's presentation. Take advantage of the HD experience here by going to the TKDS Sports Network app. Download the app and subscribe by going to videos.tkdssports.com. That'll get you access onto our TKDS Sports app, Roku, and Fire Stick. And thanks so much for your support of Livestream STL.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports, even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key.
I wonder what Coach Jarvis is up to.
Jason! Jason! What's up? What's up? Man! Oh, hang on a minute. I got a call from Blair. What's up?
What am I doing? I'm sitting here watching the coach's box.
This must be a wrong number. We hope you're enjoying tonight's presentation. Take advantage of the HD experience here with Livestream STL by going to the TKDS Sports Network app. Download the app and subscribe by going to videos.tkdssports.com. That'll get you access onto our TKDS Sports app, Roku, and Fire Stick. And thanks so much for your support of Livestream STL.
Guys, I've always wanted to ask you this since you're both pitchers. What's your favorite pitch? It's a fastball? I know. It's a curveball. No? Okay, well, what's your favorite pitch?
Oh, yeah. Spitball.
The Main Street Sports Show. You never know what we're going to throw at you. And we are back for our second segment here of the High School Sports Caravan. We're out at the River's Edge. Come on out. Blues game is on, and have a little dinner, little drinks, and watch a little Blues action. They're up 1-0 right now. And Jim, my friend, we are enjoying the conversation and whatnot we've got going on here, and we're just going to jump right on in. I'll give it right back to you. Here you go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And once again, if you're watching us on any of our platforms on Facebook, on the Caravan page, on the River's Edge social page, on the Livestream STL page, and also tomorrow, this will be available on podcast on SoundCloud. It will be.
It'll be on SoundCloud.
Yes. So, a lot of great opportunities to catch some great content from tonight. And, once again, I'm just honored that was able to, get some great people here, and Kelvin Lee and Jen Brooks and Dan Rolfes. And, Jen, I'm going to start with you. I kind of alluded to it in the first segment. It has not been the easiest year, has it? And you kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit. First off, once again, thank you for the work that you and Kess and Scott and, the rest of that task force did. I know I was, all joking aside, I was probably the only one in the media that was as adamant as I was, that we got to figure out a way to get these kids playing. And I didn't mind taking that mantra because we needed to figure something out. But the job you guys did to finally move that needle, talk a little bit about just how you guys were able to do it to get us to the point in late September where the county said, okay, let's play. There you go.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Come on, Ray.
It's all good.
Oops. I was asleep at the wheel here. Sorry.
We were getting all these mandates from the health department telling us things that we couldn't do. And as we looked at them, we thought they don't have an idea. They don't have an understanding of what high school sports really is.
Right.
And so, I reached out to Katrina at the health department and said, listen, we can play. We have these standards set in place. We're willing to do all these things to allow the kids to play. Will you hear us? Can we share our ideas? Can we work together on this? And thankfully they said, yeah. And so we started to meet weekly. We still meet. We met this past Tuesday.
Right.
And we talk about, how we can do, what they need from us, what we can give them. And we were playing in the fall. I mean, we were able to say, this is not a moderate sport, or this is not, or this is that, and this is that, and explain everything to them. And because it's not their realm of knowledge, which is okay. But thankfully they were willing to listen to us, and that was huge.
And that started the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
And Dan, I mean, once again, and I've said this on the air, on 550 during interviews and on Fox 2 on Friday nights, I take my hat off to you in what you did up at IWA and basically said, hey, our kids need to play. Our kids need to do something instead of what's going on right now. And to this day, I give you a lot of credit because there weren't a lot of other schools that were ready to make that jump like you guys did.
We just felt like we just needed to do what was best for our kids, our location, and where most of our kids are from. We looked at a lot of the schools playing in St. Charles, and we actually had more kids in our school living in St. Charles than they do. Felt like if we, followed, appropriate guidelines and that it would be safe for our kids to go out there and do it. So administration backed us. And then, we obviously had to, talk to some attorneys in our board and make sure they were on board with it. And when they were on board with it, we wanted to give our kids a shot. And, being shut down last spring, I think, impacted that a lot. And just trying to give those kids an opportunity to play safely, and we felt like we could do that, and we just kind of made the jump.
No doubt. And Kelvin, I mean, your sport, basketball, didn't start until, October, late November, but it still affected what you as a coach and what you guys were able to do, because normally August, September, early October, you got the guys doing some conditioning or at least open gym to throw the ball out and let them do something, but they weren't able to do that this year.
I remember going back when it first broke out, the pandemic broke out in this last spring, and we had to shut things down for a while. Again, we started following the protocol by AD, again, with the superintendent and principal, did a masterful job. Okay, Matt Brooks did a great job of listening to people and getting us on board. But we started conditioning, and I was kind of afraid because I didn't know anything about this disease. It was scary, and they had the stage 1. We could only have 10 kids in the gym and in the weight room, wiping the balls down every time we touch one. That's scary. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who has it. One. So again, we went to stage 2. Then it got to a point where we had to go back. Stage 1, I said, no, I'm just going to shut the conditioning down for now and try to let this pass over for a while. And then once we got back in and going back all virtual, we started talking again about the idea of practicing. And that's when our administration, again, they were very supportive. They were gung-ho. And I knew we had a chance. I know athletics, but basketball, football, athletics helps the morale of the school. And again, what we did was this year, haven't happened at your city in a long time. And I thank our administration for allowing us to do it, because Hazelwoods, Ferguson, and the surrounding, they were shut down. They weren't playing. Right. But here we were still playing. Okay, so again, and we got all the way through our season, and we play Rockwood Summit, the last game of the season, and we win. Yeah. And I get up to Saturday morning, and my AD texts me and said, we got quarantine. I was like, are you kidding me? So again,
10 days away from district.
10 days away. Couldn't even touch my players, couldn't practice. That's hard. And I don't make excuses, but 10 days away from the kids, you lose them. And again, we did boot camp, virtual boot camp, but it's hard getting all the kids into that Zoom. It's like classrooms sometimes. But again, we did that, but not being able to practice, that was tough. And then we had to play Carter Ritter, and we played hard. We went in overtime, had a chance to win it, should have won it. But again, that situation with COVID affected us in a way.
How just living on pins and needles, basically. Jen, Dan, all of you guys, you get that call from AD, or the AD gets the phone call from the athletic trainer, or a call from the county saying, okay, we're in contact tracing. How much of pins and needles were you guys sitting on a daily basis, just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get that phone call, Jen?
Well, I mean, I still am.
I mean,
we still have spring sports.
Yeah.
And so, we're dealing with that every day. When I see my contract tracer come into my office, I'm like, this good news or bad news, So, yeah, I'm such a, I'm OCD. I'm like, I need a, type A personality.
Right.
That all went out the window this past year. I have to be flexible. We have to be, pivoting every moment.
Absolutely, Dan.
I agree. It's the hardest thing is that you're not in control of it. You have no control over it, and as an AD, you need to be organized. You need to be in control. You need to set things up a certain way, and coaches are the same way. You want it your way, and there's a lot of times you have no control. You could play an opponent, and then get a call the next day. You have no control over that. Your kids can be doing everything right, and it's still, you don't have control over it. That happened to us multiple times. We had multiple kids, early on in practice, and in December get quarantined just by who they happen to sit by next someone in class, and so as soon as the second semester began, all of our varsity kids went virtual. They just weren't going to take that chance. And, if it happened, to somebody who we were playing against or someone in their family members, we felt like we cut down the risk a lot. And they sacrificed a lot. Honestly, I don't know if I've had kids more excited about coming to practice because they sometimes.
I've seen a few of your practices.
I know
sometimes.
Yeah, but it was the only people they were seeing besides their family members, and
exactly.
they were locked down, and it's not easy. And as much as I love sports and I want to compete, these guys need to have a high school experience. I mean, part of the. You guys all been a part of, the private schools. I think a big part of it is, and even, really any school is the external part, the homecomings, the proms, the different traditions that the all girls and all boys schools have. Those are the kind of things that I think they love, and that's what they're missing out. And as much as I want to win championships, I want our kids to be a part of those too.
Yeah. Father-daughter dance.
Right. That mother-daughter, all those.
I mean, and this ties into it because I think there was one thing that got lost, and this is one of the biggest things that I kept saying all through August and September is, okay, we're not letting them play, but do you understand what it's doing to these kids mentally? And I think that is the major part that has been lost in all of this is just the mental side of, a high school student not able to participate in things other than sports, father-daughter dance, theater, band, debate, all those other things. And that takes a toll on kids mentally. I mean, 15 to 18-year-olds in Gen, once again, it's hats off to the coaches for staying on top of it as much as they could because the mental drain on those kids I know was just absolutely unbelievable.
Right. Dan kind of alluded to it, that sport that is their social sphere as well, and so that's their friend group, and for them not to hang out with them, we at Ursuline, we talk all the time. As soon as we put a kid into quarantine, the counselor's involved because that mental health piece is so important. So not only are we working with them academically, we're having them, call in for virtual practices. We've also got the counselor, following up with that mental piece, and my coaching staff is very much aware of how they have to connect with those kids in quarantine. It's not easy, but it's so important. It's not that when you go to quarantine, you don't just say, okay, well, I'll see you in 10 days. No, now we have to find different ways to connect because that connection is so important.
Absolutely, Dan.
Yeah, no, I mean, we just talked about it earlier. Hey, do what you're passionate about, and when that passion is taken away one way or the other, and this happens to be through COVID, you're left with okay, where's my identity? What am I supposed to do now? You tell me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm putting so much time and effort into this to be successful at this, and then it's taken away by something that you have no control over. That's tough. And honestly, as a parent, it's tough to say, okay, I don't know, what do you do?
Yeah.
Keep your head up. Things will change. We've never been through this before.
I was just going to say, there was not a playbook. There was not a playbook. We were all just going day by day. And you know what? This day something works. It may not work the next day. Okay, rip that page up. We're going to come up with a new game plan.
Right.
And Kelvin, I mean, knowing your guys at U City, the same thing. That mental thing had to kind of. You got to keep your eye on that and check in on the kids.
Well, in their home lives sometimes they're different from some other kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, one key word we're leaving out, we mentioned counselors. Again, that's traumatizing some kids. There's trauma. And we have to deal with those kids when they come back from it. So, again, it's a heck of a deal.
No doubt. I will say this, and once again, this is another group that I keep thanking. There is an unsung group that not a lot of people see, but they were on the front lines of this, and that's all of your athletic trainers. My gosh, what a job those trainers did to take temperatures, do the screenings, ensure that practices can be run the right way, and things along those lines. My gosh, all those trainers, I hate to say it, ADs here at the table, they all deserve a pay raise this year.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Amen, brother.
But I mean, once again, there were a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, and once again, the lights at the end of the tunnel. We're getting through the spring sports. Knock on wood. I look over at Illinois and just the mess that it is over there. You got kids that are trying to play 3 sports in 5 months. That's not healthy. I don't care what anybody says. Dr. Erhan, his staff, the board of directors, I think gave our student athletes here in the state of Missouri an opportunity to finish their seasons. And, the one thing I'm saying about spring, and you guys can say this, I think the spring athletes have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because they lost last year. I'm already seeing just some unbelievable performances, this season, in this spring season. And, I know those kids they got a point to prove because they lost last year. And that's the fun part of following, high school sports this spring.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch because you're like, whoa, look at that kid. You're like, because you didn't get to see him play. You're like, wow, they really improved over, this time. So that's the beauty of it.
And Dan learned that there's a 3-second call in women's lacrosse.
I didn't know a dang thing about lacrosse.
It's a lot like basketball.
It is.
And there's
someone said a meme screen.
That segues. That's going to be the segue into our last segment, which, once again, one of the big, reasons, and one of the things we're going to be doing with this show is we are going to have constant conversation about girls' sports because it deserves to be talked about. I've been a big cheerleader for girls' sports here in the metro area since I moved here, and having 2 ADs, a coach, and then another coach that has coached girls, this is a great time that we can talk about just the evolution of girls' athletics here in the St. Louis area over the last 10 years or so. So we're going to take a break. We're here live at River's Edge. Come on by. Blues game is on. Let's see. I think it's still, it's 1-1 now. Okay. So 1-1. Great food. Come and see Demi and Arl and his crew. And we will be back here in a moment. It's the High School Sports Caravan Show live right here on Livestream STL.
Jefferson College has affordable degree options for students of all ages. Plus, register before December 11th and you could win a $250 book scholarship or other great prizes. Jefferson College provides safe on-site and online options and many exciting career pathways like humanities, business, social science and public service, math, physics and technology, and science and health. Students who know, go Jeffco. Enroll now at jeffco.edu.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle, looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy, mow with an attitude.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
This live stream SDL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on live stream SDL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
Well, we appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids. And get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
Hey, Ray Halbrook here with Livestream STL. We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. Do us a huge favor. Check out our brand new website, livestreamstl.tkdssports.com. There you'll see plenty of information about your schools, articles about different games and whatnot, and we appreciate you checking that out. Do us a huge favor also. We'd really like for you to mention Livestream STL to your athletic directors and superintendents. Tell them you want us in there to bring high value to your school. We'd appreciate that. And thanks again for watching tonight's broadcast. And we are back for our final segment here. Before we kick it over here to Jim, just let you know what's going on here at Livestream STL. Tomorrow night, pending our rain. I know there's a little bit of rain in the forecast here, but
a little bit?
A little bit.
A lot.
We're going to see how things go there. But we are at Windsor High
Yes.
School, so we're dealing with the turf field here. But Perryville comes to town. That'll be a 4:15.
In the cold and snow out.
Yeah, we don't want no snow, cold, but snow out. Oh my gosh, no. But 4:15 will be our pregame on that. Saturday we have the 34 Hoops All-Star Showcase live from St. Pius X High School. That'll be at 4 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, girls are at 4. Boys are at 5 o'clock. We got team. I'm sure you're familiar with a few of these folks here. Paige Fowler, Annie Waits.
Oh, yeah.
Herculaneum.
They're supposedly having their draft tonight
They are having their draft
on
tonight.
Instagram.
There you go. Okay. And then Donovan Tullock on the boys' side and Sonny Amabile.
Yeah.
Those guys are go-getters. They're definitely ballers. They're both. I think I'm not sure about Donovan, but I know Sonny has signed and Paige has signed and Annie has signed. But I'm working on Donovan to see if he's signed yet or not. But all four of these guys, upstanding kids, great athletes, and you get a chance to miss that there. That's the 34 Hoops All-Star Showcase live from St. Pius at 4 and 5. Then next Monday, we called an audible to the audible again.
Oh,
it's the coach's box,
Good.
like we see it.
Gosh.
Right? There it is. Well, and they're working around my schedule. So,
No, I know
so
they are.
I
I thought maybe Miller decided that he really wanted to throw a monkey wrench into
Oh,
things.
my gosh,
and him and Riley fought.
Right.
And Jarvis and Zach had to take sides. and,
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, so that's 7 o'clock on Monday, and we always have fun down there at La
Absolutely.
Pachanga. And we've been doing that for 50. This will be week 58.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys started right after COVID hit.
Yeah.
And once again, and as much as we have fun picking on Miller and Riley and
They're
all
good
that,
guys.
it's a great group. And, just hearing, four coaches just, throw stuff on the wall and see what sticks and talks, it's awesome. And those guys do a terrific job on a weekly basis. So make sure you turn the coach's box in. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Take it away, my friend.
All right. And by the way, if anybody wants to sponsor this three-ring circus that we call the High School Sports Caravan Show, starting in May, we'll go to twice a month with the show live here at River's Edge. But if you want to sponsor, Ray's got the phone number up there on the screen. We'd love to have you on board with us. We'd love to showcase your business and talk a lot about it. I know the folks here at River's Edge love doing what they're doing. We're going to have a little food after this, and believe me when I tell you, the wings are awesome.
Yes.
You got to jump on those. So,
Absolutely.
but if you want to sponsor, Ray's got the phone number right there. Give us a call, and we'd love to have you on board.
Absolutely.
All right, let's and once again, I'm Jim Powers, Kelvin Lee, Jen Brooks, Dan Rolfes, and the great thing about having the three of you here tonight is something that we are going to be doing on a show-by-show basis, and that's highlighting girls' athletics. And it's important. When I first cut my teeth coaching, I coached girls' basketball for years. I coached softball for years back in Ohio. And I get it. And the evolution of girls' athletics in the St. Louis area over the last, I'd say, 10 years maybe, has just been unbelievable. And with you three here, it's a great conversation to have because, we've all seen it. We've all seen how it's evolved from, not really that competitive to now, my gosh, we're winning state championships in almost every girls' sport out there right now. And, Jen, I know you wear a lot of hats, but you are also just an unbelievable advocate for girls' sports and girls' athletics, not only here in St. Louis and not only in Missouri, but across the country, and that is so awesome. How did you get involved with that? But also, how have you seen the evolution of girls athletics in the St. Louis area?
I've been an athletic director for 25 years, and often, as you can see, I'm the only woman in the room. And I'm not always as lucky to sit with such great gentlemen,
Yeah.
And so it's been a hard road for me. And so knowing that how hard it has been for me, I know that it's hard for all these other young women, whether they're the athletes, the coaches, the athletic directors. And so I said, I have to do something different to make their journey easier, whether they're an athlete in my building, an athlete down the road at Incarnate, whether it's, helping Dan, whatever it is, we have to do better, So I was like, I'm tired of being invisible. I'm going to find the courage to say, hey, guys, I'm here. We're here. We bring value to your programs. We bring value and knowledge to your programs. It's time to hear us and see us. And so, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're breaking glass ceilings. We are standing up and saying, hey, we're here. And it's been fun.
Absolutely, Kelvin. And once again, you coach boys. You also got a daughter that was a terrific athlete as well. From seeing it from the other side, talk a little bit about just the evolution of girls athletics here in St. Louis.
Okay. Well, again, I'm going to go back a little bit. My first coaching job in Florida, I coached girls track. And
learned something new. I did not know that.
That was the first time I've ever coached girls, and I'm very competitive, and I'm a gun-ho guy. And when I speak to the girls, sometimes the tears come flowing out of their eyes. I was like, oh my God! And I went to my AD and said, I'm not coaching girls track anymore. I'm not coaching girls. But no, I have a daughter. She grows up. In my third grade, I started coaching, and it was a funny deal. But all the parents would show up. Why aren't we scrimmaging? Because I was big on fundamentals, that's passing, dribbling, footwork, jump stops. That's all we were doing for about 2 hours, okay? But then the parents, one day I came in on a Friday and said, okay, we're going to scrimmage today. Put them in teams, and I said, now you guys see why we're not scrimmaging? It was like soccer. They're playing, they're running, following each other around. They're not even organized. That's why we're not scrimmaging. We're going to work on fundamentals and get them better. But, all of a sudden, Mackenzie got a lot better in sports, and unfortunately she let basketball go, which was fine with me.
Yeah.
I always used to tell my kids, don't play basketball because I'm a coach. Play because you want to play. You love it. All right? And, again, I'm going to move forward now. But there was a time that was, wow, I wouldn't go to a girls' basketball. I couldn't watch girls' basketball. I couldn't do it. But now, oh, my God. It's changed.
Yeah.
I go to girls' games, and I find myself going to U Cities in the spring. I go to the softball games, and I'm out there having fun with those girls because it's all about relationships.
Absolutely.
In the building, outside the building, having fun with those girls out there in the softball field, watching them compete, and then watching the NC2A tournament this year. Oh my God. Oh, those girls are playing.
I want to give credit to Dan, because the evolution of women's sports is because people like Dan stay and coach women's sports.
Yeah.
I can imagine how many offers Dan has gotten to go elsewhere. But he says, but, he says, he's committed to the woman at Incarnate Word, and that's awesome. We are successful because he says, I choose woman. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy the heck out of it. So, I think a lot of the evolution is just the opportunities.
Yeah.
They need to be given opportunities, and I think they're getting more and more opportunity, and people see the value in it. I think just, as far as like the evolution of each individual sports, kind of take good with the bad. I think a lot of it is specialization too. Our kids are playing basketball 24/7, and they're playing volleyball, and they're specializing, and they're getting trainers, and good with the bad. But I think that's a big reason why you're seeing such a spike in the level of play. But I think it's mostly opportunities. If you said 10 years ago, how many people would watch the women's Final Four? You couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But then now you're able to watch every game up into the finals, and I think I think kids need to see that on TV and then get their ball out, go back and get shots up or make a move or realize that they have that opportunity. I can go play at, Arizona, Stanford, UConn. I can go play there and kind of have that drive. I think, if you just are practicing and just see your CYC team and nothing beyond that, that they need that target. They need to see those women and play at that high level. So
I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to say if you did not watch the Women's Final Four this year, shame on you.
Shame.
Because those were 3 of the most incredible women's basketball games that I've seen in years.
Yes.
I mean, it was just, to see the Arizona, semifinal, just the way that thing played out, and then that championship game was just, you were on the edge of your seat. And, that's the great thing that I see with this. And, I said this on, the way the NCAA treated the women down in San Antonio at the beginning was just an absolute travesty. At least people like Dick's Sporting Goods and a few other places stepped up to get them the things they need. With the volleyball championships, ESPN saying, oh, no, we're not going to cover the first. Why? There's plenty of play-by-play guys out there that would jump at the chance to call those games. I know if I would have gotten a phone call, do I know a whole heck of a lot about volleyball? No. But would I have made my way through it just so those kids can get the coverage they deserve? Absolutely. And so that's where I think the optics really need to change. And, I'm fortunate, working in the Division II side. I see how, and I get to work with some incredible coaches at Maryville. Lori Kolupny is just unbelievable. Courtney Conley, our softball coach, just, she played at Alabama. She won a national championship. She gets it. She knows what she's doing. And those are just 2 of the examples of, seeing it in the collegiate level at the grassroots. But my gosh, just, 10 years ago, watching Dan and Incarna play, and then going to watch, Julie and St. Joe's and Jeff and Dustin Hayes, and, over the years, just seeing how the game has evolved and just how girls' athletics are evolved. People ask me all the time, Jim, why do you work girls' basketball? Why do you officiate girls' basketball? I love it. I don't have Kelvin yelling at me all the time, but I get Dan yelling at me all the time. But
equal opportunity.
I know you are. I've been on both sides of this. So, once again, where did I cut my teeth? Coaching girls basketball. And a funny story, and going back to what Kelvin said, I would coach football and then have to go to our girls practice. I remember the first couple nights I was still in football mode. I made a girl cry, and I'm just like, I can't do this. And I had to kind of, and that was, once again, that was back in the
but
early 90s.
But at the same time, Jim, girls want to be coached.
I was just going to say.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I mean, obviously, they don't want to get hollered at,
but they want to be coached
they want to be coached.
And so I had to kind of change my philosophy a little bit on approaches and all that kind of stuff. And sure enough, it worked, and I had a chance to work with some great coaches back in Ohio that I learned a ton about. And then, when I took my own program over before I moved here to St. Louis, I had gained so much knowledge, but also I had gained so much respect for the game of girls basketball. And, that's why I'm such a huge proponent of girls sports, because of what I had a chance to see as a coach, and now I see it as an official and covering it in the media.
Well, one thing I can say about girls and boys, girls pay attention to detail.
Oh, my gosh.
Better than boys. They listen to you better than boys, and they follow instructions. And they go out there and do it.
By third grade, the boys already know everything they need to
know. They think they do it anyway.
He's hitting it right on the head.
Yeah, they pay attention to detail. I love that.
And that's why I'll coach girls any day of the week, including twice on Sunday, because they'll listen, they want to learn, and like Dan said, they want to be coached. Whereas some guys, and this isn't a slam on the boys, but you know what? They think they know it. They think they're seeing it. They're seeing it on TV, and they can do the same thing in high school. And sometimes they don't want to be that coachable person. And I think that's the other part of this whole thing that's evolved too over the last bunch of years is the girls want to be coached. They see it, and they want to be part of that and they want to take that next step.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be doing what everybody else is doing, what the guys are doing.
Look at you.
Absolutely. You know,
and I say that in all seriousness, Jen.
Yeah.
Look at the job that you have done. You know, I mean, I don't know if there was another female AD in the St. Louis area that took the bull by the horns, basically, and made such an impact with all the COVID stuff, but also with all the other stuff that you do. And so, you know, you're a trailblazer when it comes to all this stuff, and you deserve a lot of credit for that because of what we're seeing here in the St. Louis area. And Dan, you know, you're in the same conferences, Jen. You guys get it. You guys see it on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't know how she had time to do it. Seriously.
I don't know how I did it. Yeah. But, you know, I do it because we talked about it. If you can see it, you can be it, you know? So for the young ladies that walk my halls every day, I want them to see me leading the way because I want them to be trailblazers in whatever they do and blaze their own path, you know? So that's why I do it.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to give a shout-out back to my team, my girls' team, Jay Blossom.
Oh.
Gabby was on that team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we were both coaching. And you can imagine how those practices were.
Oh,
me
my.
and Jay. Boy, we were getting after him a little bit. They learned a little bit of basketball.
I could only imagine who had to keep who sitting down out of that pair. And you know, we were talking about basketball, but look at volleyball-wise. And, you know, Jay's daughter, Gabby, playing at Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, the job just unbelievable the talent level volleyball-wise that we're seeing here in St. Louis. Women's lacrosse, soccer. I mean, once again, you know, I mean, I look at some of this incredible soccer and the coaches. You know, Pat Turner up at Duchesne, perfect example. You know, he's almost like the Dan on the girls' soccer side. He's had a bunch of state championships and stays at Duchesne to coach girls because that's what he believes in, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, guys, it's a little after 8. I promised you guys some food. We're going to get some food here. So, but Kelvin, Jen, Dan, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a great conversation, and you know, I'm sure we'll see you guys down the road. But once again, just incredible stuff tonight. Thank you so much for being on show number 2
Thank you.
of the Reboot.
Thank you.
No problem. Kelvin Lee, Jen Brooks, and Dan Rolfes, and Ray. Once again, the time flies, and you know, great conversation, and you know, this is what we want to do with the show.
Absolutely.
We want to have some great conversation, open some eyes, throw some new thoughts out there, and you know, so we're going to figure out some dates for May. We're going to start going twice a month in May. So we'll have that on our Facebook pages. We'll have it on Livestream STL. We'll also have it on the Caravan Facebook page and on the River's Edge Facebook page. But once again, not able to make it here tonight, come on down anytime. They got great food. The Blues are on. They're still tied 1-1. I know we're going to sit and watch a little bit of that and have some food. But, you know, once again, too, if you want to sponsor, you know, give us a call, let us know, or shoot us an instant message on our Facebook pages, and we'll get back to you. But, Ray, another one in the books, buddy. The reboot continues.
Yeah, it continues, and, hey, we're excited to be a part of this, and thank you guys for being with us, too. And, you know, we just continue to build on this.
Absolutely.
And there's plenty of things to talk about, you know, more than just COVID even, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
We're going to start getting out of that. I mean, it's still
I'm sure they're like,
yeah.
you know,
well, we were talking
Get
about
past it.
We were talking about the winter COVID cancellations. I'm actually glad I'm seeing cancellations because of rain,
right,
instead of because of COVID. And I'm sure you guys would deal with that any day of the week. Yes. So, but no, that's what we're going to do. And once again, you know, there's not enough high school coverage. There's not enough coverage here in the St. Louis area, and this is going to, you know, we're going to ramp this thing up. We're going to talk about officiating. We're going to have, like you said, that we're going to get the old crew back on the Caravan with Harry Schrader and Kevin Paulus and that over the summer.
That'll be fun.
We're going to get a lot of the football coaches and a lot of the girls coaches for the softball coaches and the volleyball coaches. So we're going to have a lot of fun, but it's time for us to go.
Yes, it is.
Ray,
Absolutely.
thank you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for being with us. You're watching the High School Sports Caravan. We will see you at another time. We'll get that out when we can here. And check out the podcast on SoundCloud.
Absolutely.
It'll be out tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Been an honor.
Perfect.